Hello, welcome to the Goodfellas podcast, the Fellas series, where we do our kind of short segments. We do a lot of QAs. We talk about kind of men's issues
Mental
and health and stuff like that.
Advice.
Like I said, we're going to do a lot more kind of forfeits and kind of.
Am I the assholes?
Am I the assholes?
Yeah.
Agony uncles?
Yeah.
Anything like that. So. If you've not just caught us on our podcast, we've just been having a bit of fun talking about WWE wrestling.
Yes,
For people who don't know
a
about
throwback.
But for a quick one on here, I just wanted to kind of bring up something I saw this week.
Yeah.
So kind of talking real for a second. So
Yeah.
And you can just literally jump in and just thoughts and everything.
Yeah,
like
of course.
So the UK government are finally looking into something long overdue, and that's going to be a dedicated strategy for men's mental health.
Great.
Okay, it's only 2025.
Yeah, I know.
And they've only decided to do it.
Yeah.
We still die younger than women.
Yeah.
We get diagnosed later,
Yeah.
and we don't show up to the GP until it's nearly too late.
Yeah, that is.
Okay,
men all over.
but we kind of power through and stuff. So,
Yeah.
why do you kind of think we're like that? I suppose.
Well, I think it's a lot of how men are viewed in society as well, and by men and women, is that you just get on with it. You don't show weakness. You don't show vulnerability.
Yeah.
I'm a man. I would say what I've just said, but it's quite heavily like, if you see a man crying that, like some people still say, "Oh, you pussy."
Yeah.
And what are you crying for? Man up. And it's like, no, it's not about manning up. Obviously, up to a point, but what we're doing with the Goodfellas podcast. We're trying to help with what you're saying, aren't we?
Yeah, we're trying to bring awareness to it as well. And stuff.
Awareness, be an outlet,
be a support
group
for you,
support outlet, support whatever you need us to be. We're trying to be there as well, and more, like Dad said last week on the podcast, more of these sort of setups need to happen, and we're still exploring and going to do more things where we can help men. Obviously, we're for women as well, but we are men, so we cater towards men more so. But it's trying to break those barriers of man up. Don't be so much of a pussy. You know what I'm saying.
And we've, like I said, grown up with Clarke and that. We've always been there for each other through any of the issues we've gone through in life.
Yeah.
We've never been to each other like just man up and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're fully supportive as an outlet.
Yeah.
If you're kind of struggling and stuff and that. We're fully there to give you support and help, have a chat.
Honestly, message us.
Yeah, because that's all it is about. Sometimes you just need someone to smile or have a chat at you and stuff.
Or listen, or like hear you vent. Honestly, one of the main things is why we did this is send us a message. Let us know how you're doing. If we feel like we can help you or be there or whatever, we will honestly try our best.
Yeah, we're not experts.
No.
We're not trained... psychologists, mental health kind of experts or anything like that. But we're just two blokes who have gone through a lot of shit.
Yeah.
And have been there for each other and other people as well and stuff. And people have been there for us, and we've got some experience, and we just kind of be here for people if you want to reach out.
Yeah.
So like I said, they've come up with a strategy they want to talk about. They're going to look at some of the big hitters, so kind of suicide, which I know we touched on a little bit last week with us working in construction, it being the biggest killer, and one of them is suicides, unfortunately. They're looking at heart disease and obviously prostate cancer.
Yeah.
On average, men in the UK live nearly 4 years less than women.
Yeah.
And like we just said, we're also less likely to seek help or even kind of talk about what's going on mentally or physically. And you've kind of touched on those points.
Yeah.
Like I said, it could be stuff like you might have had a cough for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you might be like, well, I'll be right, just go.
Yeah, I know.
You kind of, and it's not so much being like,
oh my god, I got to go.
I'm just a man. I got to get on with it. It's just sometimes you just do. You're just like, well, it's in your cough. Like, it'll be alright. But deep down, it could be something a lot more
really bad. Yeah.
worse. So that's what it's saying. We're less likely to go. And everything
until
like that.
It could be too late or almost too late.
Yeah, and I mean, the system doesn't always help as well, which is probably why they're bringing in a strategy, because it's not just about us blokes not kind of showing up.
Yeah.
I suppose the services are not always there, and I think I'm not trying to downplay anyone, because I think it has massively grown over the last 10 years, maybe 20 years, because I know in construction there's a can't remember, it's called the Lighthouse charity,
Yeah.
which is for construction.
Yeah.
You've got things like Mind,
Yeah.
which are good for like mental health and
Well,
everything. And that.
funny enough, my mother-in-law actually works with Mind. She does the phone calls and that.
Yeah.
And my mother-in-law, Corinne, and she will do that. And she said a lot of it is men.
Yeah.
A lot of it
but
is men.
I think they're individual kind of
outlets
who are doing it themselves because they can see the support. But this is now finally the government
backed
coming in now and saying that they want to put a strategy in place
That's
and
great.
look at men's health.
That's great.
Because obviously they can see that it's obviously having a big impact.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what kind of changes could it bring? I was reading about it. It could bring kind of more education.
Yeah.
More screening. So, I mean, more education about the issues or problem, not people are getting better education.
Yeah.
More screening for things like prostate cancer.
Yeah, good.
Better mental health support.
Yeah.
And kind of tailoring things to how we actually maybe think and behave.
Yeah, and I'm sure that will also bring about it more acceptability, or it being acceptable to feel like that as a man.
Yeah.
In the public.
And I think you just literally in the public. I think it's normalising the conversation.
Yeah.
So like we chat on this podcast, but when we go out for a beer and everything and that, if you said fantasy football to us, I mean the way we chat about fantasy football, it's like that, and you could be in a pub having a beer talking about fantasy football.
Yeah.
And it's normal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's probably trying to bring in a strategy to normalise the stuff like mental health now.
Yeah.
So we could be in a pub and I might be like, look, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
But I don't feel embarrassed because I'm in a pub, there's other men or people around me, they might overhear the conversation.
Yeah.
Or if we're out with a group of people,
Yeah.
if there's 5 of us, 5 mates out there, and we're talking about it, you're not going to feel embarrassed in front of your mates or other people around you.
No.
Like you would fantasy football.
Yeah.
So it's trying to bring that normalisation into it, that you're not, you don't need to kind of hide and keep it to yourself.
No, and
or be afraid to speak out.
No,
to people and ask for help. Yeah.
Yeah, and also going from that, it's like normalising, just being like, "How you doing, Doc? You all right?
Yes.
You okay?" Normalising those conversations with your friends, like, "How you doing? You all right?" I'm like, "Oh yeah," and be like, "No, seriously, are you okay?" And if it is, then great. If not, talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's saying that, it's like, I know, like, you can do it with your friends, just like, "Oh, all right, mate, how you doing?" And then people come in and that's it. But sometimes you just genuinely ask and be there for them, and you never know what could happen. They could be like, "I'm so glad you asked me.
Yes.
I'm dying to speak about this, but I haven't had the courage to do so."
And I mean, even from my own experience, you could both be honest here, how many times, like, ignored signs of maybe potential illnesses or mood swings or stress or mental health things because we have spoken to each other, but is there things that I probably have not maybe raised earlier to you or
Probably
like to my wife or to my family members and stuff and that?
Yeah, I know I have.
And I definitely put my hand up and say that
Same.
we've been them. We've been them. We've been that like,
We're
oh,
not
you're right.
perfect.
Keep it to yourself, like, because you almost like sometimes, and I think this is the worries with like not just construction but men's mental health, but construction, as I said, being the biggest killer is stuff like, you know, if you're in debt or things like that, which could be a big thing, or stuff like, I don't know, you're having bad times at work, you're getting bullied or things like that. You as a man then you feel like, oh, I don't want
to burden your family.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
You don't want them to have the worries and stuff because you see them. Like you said, we said how many times you come home and one of the greatest things you come home and you see your kids. Oh, daddy's home.
Yeah. The
and
last thing you want to do is like, oh.
And
you know what?
Could be, and I think this is where like people have been depressed, blokes, and unfortunately do commit suicide. They come home and they see that loving family and they feel like
I don't deserve it.
They don't deserve it, and then they think the best thing for them is to not be here.
Yeah, which
is
as you
horrible to even be in that state.
Obviously, it is horrible to be in that state. But there's a lot of suicide in my family. Didn't really touch on it at all, but my dad's dad, my granddad, committed suicide. Auntie's done it. Like, there's a lot of suicide in my family, and it never makes it better.
No,
I'm not saying. Obviously, however, they obviously felt like it got to a point where it's bad. But like my granddaddy did it because of debt and because of guilt about how he was as a granddad. And it's like my dad and him were starting to repair bits of relationship. It's like you may think that they shouldn't. You might think in some weird way they don't want you to be there or you're a burden. It's far worse if you're not there. far worse. No matter how much you think you're the burden, you might just... You thinking that will take away the pain makes it 10 times more.
Yeah.
Not being there, I mean, that's final.
It might be alright for yourself.
Yeah.
Selfishly, you think, oh, I'd be alright, I don't have to put up with this anymore and all that.
But then,
and it'd be easy for them, but what you leave behind and the people you leave behind and how it affects them for forever is horrendous. And I think that, like, just basically, as I said, that emphasises the fact that now the government
that's great.
Are hopefully to bring something in like a new strategy and really kind of push it on. Can only be good.
Of course it can.
And help even further.
More men talking about mental health and trying to talk through their issues and that can help society, everything, the workplace, everything become so much better if that happens. Without a doubt.
Oh, 100%. And like we said, like last week, it doesn't have to just be like a podcast, but like going out mates, putting these things down, like that. You don't have to be on these phones when we're out having a beer.
No.
Have a drink and just have a chat.
Yeah.
And you might want to raise things there and you feel more comfortable. It's like if I'm chatting to you and then you're like, you might have something on your mind, and I'm there like,
I know, I want to talk to you.
Oh, Liverpool just won the Premier League today.
In my head, I'd be like
that, and we're like,
yeah. I'd be like, fuck off.
And we mentioned it before, like, it's actively listening,
actively
being there.
listening.
So put the phones down.
Yeah.
If you're there, get your mates, go
have an
out
honest
for a beer
conversation,
and have an honest conversation,
like we do.
I'm sure it will only benefit you.
Yeah, definitely. Or like you said, a problem shared is a problem halved.
Yeah.
And the more people you talk to who you trust, who can help you, your problem can seem like a mountain, and it can end up being, like you say, a molehill. You know.
100%.
Yeah.
So that was it, really. It was only a short one.
Yeah.
Just to bring up that, I think it's a good thing.
Me too.
And like I said, this is our short segment series.
Yeah. Thank you for watching and listening.
And we will bring a lot more of these and fun ones and other kind of real topics to you. But unless you've got anything else on that?
No, if you ever want to ask us stuff, send questions in for advice, whatever. It could be in any format, email, video, message, whatever. Honestly, we really, really mean this.
Yes.
We will take the time out to listen, reply in the best way we feel that we can help you.
100%. Yeah, we will be there.
But yeah, on that one.
Yeah, we'll end on that one. So thank you for listening,
for listening.
and we'll see you on the next short segment.
Cheerio.
Bye, everyone.